So where was I? I had to stop. The video cut off unexpectedly because there's no room in my camera. So I had to delete a bunch of stuff, and now I lost my train of thought. So I just wanted to. I'm just, you know, it took years to wean off of all these medications, and I was almost killed weaning off the last two medications. And then it's been a fight to try to get the health care that I need. And it's, I got extremely injured from weaning off the last two medications. And this whole process has been, you know, a really long journey of trying to heal, very, very, very slowly healing, not healed yet, but also trying to, psychologically process what has all happened here, what they've all done to me, and um, like it's taken years for me to put the pieces together of what actually really happened, and then years of getting educated about all these medications and how the system works, and so I'm severely traumatized, right? Severely medically traumatized by all of this, and I'm trying to get, medical help for. Uh, I'm severely sleep deprived, and I'm still not sleeping like I should be, and trying to get help for my jaw or airway or whatever, and but I'm still trying to put all the pieces together because what happened to me, what was done to me, I know it's happening to other people, but I want my story to be told, and uh, I I need to speak the truth about what I experienced, what I was all put through. And I was actively looking for help for years. I was looking asking for a second opinion, third opinion, fourth, fifth, sixth, looking for help. Why I was so sick, diagnosed with all these things that eventually went away when I went off the medications. But struggling to breathe. It's my understanding now that I was overdosed uh, a good few times by two different doctors, and struggling from respiratory depression for years. I would say a good 15 years, which was never diagnosed, which they refused to diagnose. And I would say that is just beginning to heal now. My breathing is starting to get stronger. Um, so it's a long, complicated journey towards healing, and I'm still so sick. So last night, trying to sleep, just honestly, I just sometimes I just feel like I'm at the end of my tether. Uh, uh, I'm just so tired and traumatized and in physical pain from the medication injury. But anyways, just trying to process all of this, and um, I wanted to list off some of the medications that they had me on at the same time. Only now have I, gotten the record. It's only been recent past couple of years that I've gotten my pharmacy records. I know all the drug classifications now. I know what they all do to the human body. I understand now what was done to me. So I can look through these. I mean, I've got 100 pages. I can look through this, my pharmacy records, and tell you that the prescribing cascade and what each drugs were doing to me. For example, Dicetel is being repeatedly um, prescribed. Dicetel is for severe constipation. No one could figure out how to help me with severe constipation. I mean, I was going to the bathroom every 2 or 3 weeks. Just, I was, you know how toxic you are if you're not having a bowel movement for 2 or 3 weeks at a time? So you're toxic, you're sick, you're being made sick. You know what that was from? Uh, Being overprescribed sedatives. So I can look through these pharmacy records and tell you. I mean, I didn't know at the time. I was suffering from all these drug side effects, and drugs were being prescribed for my drugs. So I can go through these records now because I'm educated on what these drugs actually do and what all the side effects are, and I can tell you what drugs I'm being prescribed for which other drugs. And but you don't know that you're suffering from drug side effects because you're not being told that, and you don't, you're uneducated and you don't understand what's going on, like traditionally we were just taught and trained. Today is a new different world. Traditionally, I went through the majority of my life, we have been trained to trust our doctors, and we had no access to other information. Even going to the library and trying, it was not, we didn't have computers, and anyways, let me tell you some of these medications. Okay, prednisone, from inflammation from the lungs, because I had respiratory depression and that wasn't being diagnosed. I think I was being prescribed prednisone because I was having trouble breathing, inflammation, respiratory depression. Dicetel, severe constipation from the medications. I was being prescribed Dicetel. Okay, here. Oxycodone, take 1 to 2 tablets 3 times a day for severe headache. So that's up to 6 oxycodone a day. I had Chiari malformation. I was diagnosed at this time of this prescription with Chiari malformation, but nobody really told me what Chiari was. So nobody explained to me, what Chiari malformation was. And I'm being given oxycodone, not understanding why I'm having headaches. Oxycodone with trazodone 3 times a day, with gabapentin twice a day, times 300. Quetiapine for sleep, 50 milligrams, plus the clonazepam at bedtime, plus 2.5 Zopiclone times 7.5 at bedtime. So at bedtime, and you got to understand the cognitive impairment and the memory issues that were happening with all these drugs at the same time. So a few oxycodone, the same time with a few trazodone, with a few gabapentin, with a few quetiapine, with clonazepam, plus a few Zopiclone, all at the same time. That's heavy sedation. That is a recipe for the patient may not wake up the next day. And this went on, all these different drug combinations went on for years. And I did not understand what was happening to me. And I didn't sleep. That's the biggest thing. I was struggling to breathe, undiagnosed severe sleep apnea, sleepwalking and sleep eating from the drugs, from the quetiapine and from the zopiclone, that was being misdiagnosed. And I didn't sleep. And so let me just recap. Oxycodone plus, at the same time, right? Trazodone, 3 trazodone, plus gabapentin, a couple gabapentin times 300, plus a couple quetiapine, plus clonazepam 3 times a day, one or two at bed, plus 2.5 zopiclone, the same time, bedtime, with all that other stuff. And I've told a few other doctors this. They were ticked off at how sedated and how dangerous this was. And this just went on and on for years, and nobody could ever diagnose any of it. And eventually, I had to get away. When I asked, I think we should deprescribe me because I'm so sick with all these things, physically and mentally, all these things. I'm being diagnosed with more and more things, ADHD, and then I'm being given medications for all the things that I'm being diagnosed with. ADHD, seasonal affective disorder, major depressive disorder, PMDD, did I mention that? Sleepwalking, sleep eating, what else? Like, I counted, I think, 9 different disorders that I was being diagnosed with. And then when I suggested, I think, like, I am so sick in so many ways, severe brain fog. My memory was gone. I had Post-it notes in every room, on the walls, Post-it notes on every mirror, Post-it notes on the doors. I couldn't remember anything. I'm taking medications, morning, noon, supper time, bedtime, up to 35.5 pills. I counted up to 1,056 pills a month. Now I take 1 pill a day. I take thyroid, because I believe that I think all the medications screwed my thyroid up. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be taking anything every day. So they were prescribing me up to 1,056 pills a month. That's like a huge, huge glass full of pills. And I'm ticked off. I'm traumatized. I want to talk to somebody about this. I want to talk to the prescribing doctors. And then, when I weaned off of everything, all these disorders went away, and I was brain injured. I was my nervous system injured from the last 2 medications, acquired neuropathy. I'm still, pretty sick from bind, and, pause, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. But I want answers how they can do this. And then I fought to get assessed for the sleep apnea. Nobody believed me. It was a fight for my life to get diagnosed. And then I still didn't sleep with the CPAP. So now I'm fighting. I've fought for the last 8 years to try to get help. What else is going on? And it's an issue with my jaw. My jaw needs to be moved forward, or, I've been fighting to get a trach. So it's been one hell of a ride for decades. And also lorazepam, I was being prescribed with all those other drugs. I was being prescribed lorazepam at the same time as well. And ADHD meds, modafinil. Anyways, I should sign off. The video's going to stop in a second here. So I just needed to talk about this, and I think people need to be aware